Really, enough about me. We're here for you. But just to tell you again, it is Joleene Moody. And my goal here today is to bring you transformation and give you the pieces that you need that are missing so you can take whatever it is you have, whether it's coaching, whether you're a trainer, whether you sell real estate or you're a financial advisor, all sorts of you are out there today, and use this information in what you do so you can convert a room. I don't care if there's 10 people, 100 people, or 1,000 people. The room is convertible. When you walk into a room, when you're standing on this stage and there's people out there, you want them out there. And that's the room you convert. But there's a process to it. And I have clients that fill rooms and then that's it, because they don't continue through the process. Typically, when you have a conversion with sales, you convert 1 in 10 people. I don't subscribe to this. And I just told you that. I had a room of 10 people. There were 7 in it. I converted 2. So when our speakers come up here, you're going to hear other stories. A room of 3 people, and there was a high-end conversion. So it's possible. I don't want this ratio to get in your head, because here's the deal. It's not about a sale. It's about serving. Because this particular talk, I was talking about overcoming fear, how fear just, man, it paralyzes us. It's the story we listen to and we let run our lives. I've been there 1,000 times. I have been brought to my knees, but I have stood right back up. Be you. I'm 41 years old. It took me 40 years to figure this out. And I know a lot of you know exactly what I mean. It was because I thought if I were somebody else, that would work better. But I was wrong. And I'm grateful for the fallout I had for it, because it made me stand back up and be the person I am. This is the person you get when you choose to work with me, when you choose to get to know me. It's me. I personally think I'm a good time. On the other end of the spectrum, as a speaker, you can sponsor an event. So what that looks like is you pay, but I promise you it's all good. So there is an organization that I do this with in New York State. And so they have a keynote speaker, they have someone up there that owns the stage, and the sponsor gets 3 minutes. That's all they get, is 3 minutes of time. And they get their name put everywhere, right? They get email blasts and all that stuff, but they get 3 minutes. So I paid $150 for this sponsorship. And the keynote was up there for 45 minutes, and God knows the last thing you want to listen to when a speaker is done is another one. So I had to make a really big impact in that 3 minutes. So I was sitting at my table, and I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to top this woman? I mean, she was great. She had great information on branding, marketing. She was actually very good. And you know that voice that says, "You suck." That was going on right here. And I had this sign that I had created on that styrofoam backboard, and it had the top 3 mistakes women entrepreneurs make. And as she was introducing me and I was walking up to the stage, I pulled a chair from the nearest table, I stood up on the chair, and I held that sign above my head. And I said, all of you in here are making these mistakes. You need to stop. And I had their full attention. It's like that story of Barbara Streisand. Her first audition, she walked in chewing gum, took it out, put it on the bench, and everyone's like, what? They remembered her. And those people remembered me. And in that 3 minutes, I had their full attention, and my little vendor table with my books was swamped. I left that day with 4 clients. 3 minutes. It's always possible. Your resistance to the solution will not solve the problem. It will only perpetuate it. You need to be the solution. Every time, all the time. That's what we're here to do, is to serve. Your job as a speaker, there's love in you. You got to push it out there. It's the only way. We're creatures of love. There's only 2 emotions. We learn the second one, which is fear. We're born in love. That's where we deliver from. So, okay, there we go. Woo! All right, thank you, ladies. You may be seated and come to order. Lindsay had said, and she's, in my humble opinion, 100% accurate. This is my addiction, by the way. Anybody have this addiction? Yeah, baby. I'm not alone. I'm not afraid to say it. When you can create your own speaking gig circuit, you have the power to bring people to you. So here's what I do when I work with the clients that I work with is, yeah, we want to get you on stages, but that can be a process. Yes? Speakers agree. It can be a process. If you're going through bureaus, you can't rely on them. Even if you have an agent, sometimes the power and the energy isn't there either. There's just not that regularness of getting on stage. So you create your own speaking circuit. So what I do is we work both these gigs. We start your own circuit, whether it's, some folks just want to stay regional. Some want to be, well, local, or they want to be regional. So like I'll go all over New York State. I don't care, I'll drive. Some want to be national or international. I don't care, whatever it is you want to do. So you've got your way of how to actually create your own speaking gig circuit. And then you have to find your own speaking gigs. And here's the deal. It's not that difficult, and I promise you it's worth the effort. I have found that the gigs that I have found myself, I have created that connection that we talked about before, and I'm respected more and I respect them more. There's no third party, it's me, I go straight to it. And there's a big, big difference with that. So the first thing I want to say is, when you have someone reach out to you, hey, I want to have you as a speaker. Hey, I heard you speak here, I'd love to have you talk, but I can't pay you. Does this sound familiar? Yeah. You need to make that gig advantageous, and you need to be brave about doing it. So you need to be really good at negotiating. And I get that at first it's a little knee wobbly, because you don't want to lose the gig, especially if the people that are going to be in front of you are people that you know you can have as your clients, that are your people. I can't drill this enough. 3 letters of reference, no emails. Letters of reference. Here's what you want to do with these letters, and you are welcome to help them shape the letter. Basically, when you speak in front of someone, if they say, well, we can't afford to pay you, and they give you all these reasons, say, okay, here's what I'd like to know if you can do for me. Do you know of at least 3 or 5 organizations that can benefit from my talk? Yes, I do. Great. I would like to ask you to please send a letter of reference to them within 30 days and CC me on that letter. And let them know that you think I would be fantastic for their organization, that I just rocked the room and I was amazing, and that I will be in touch with them. And I give them a little bit, like when I forward an email, a little bit of how to word that, because I want to make sure that it makes sense to whoever gets this letter of reference. Because if I don't hear from those 5 people, they're going to hear from me. And I'm going to say, hey, I spoke at Sandy's event. She sent you a letter of reference. I was CC'd in the letter, and I just wanted to chat with you about your upcoming conference. I would love to talk to you about how to become a speaker. This is my favorite. We're a nonprofit organization, Jolene. We don't have the funds for this. And I say, I can honor and respect that, but I'm not a nonprofit organization. And even if I'm speaking to you, you receive a salary. I don't. This will be my salary. So if you can't pay me my full fee of $2,000, can we talk about a stipend? And maybe they'll say $500. I'll say, that's great. Let's talk about further how to make up for that other $1,500. This is where these come in. As for a prime vendor table spot, I have made this mistake so many times. I was at an event where I was the keynote in November, and it was a great event, and they had asked, do you want a vendor table? I'm like, sure, and I took for granted that they would put the table near me or by the door. So this was a huge event, and there were a lot of vendors, a lot of people exhibiting. My table was downstairs, tucked between a florist, a photographer, and somebody that sold some funky jewelry. Nobody knew who I was. So you go by, and there's just this chick. And I've got my books, and I have this necklace that I was selling that said Fearless, and an audio CD that I have that I sell. So what I had to do is when people would approach me, I would literally be like, hi, how are you? I'm Jolene. I'm your keynote. It's so nice to meet you. Hi, this is me. So I got zero attention until afterwards because they were able to experience me, and then I got drive to my table. But it was a long journey for them to get there. So make sure you negotiate and make it clear, please have that table by the door, because when people go out, you want to be able to chat with them. If they want to reduce your fee, say that's fine. I'll accept $500, but I need to be the keynote. I need to speak to that whole room. Don't be afraid. Be brave. If you're on the phone with a professional, they get it. You can work something out. They're not going to hang up on you. My fee when I speak regionally is $3,000. And I had someone reach out to me, and they were like, well, what is your fee? And you know, there's a little fear because you don't want them to say no. And I said, it's $3,000. And I heard the crickets. And she didn't say anything. And she said, well, we've got a list of other speakers we can reach out to. And I said, what does your organization work with? What can you work with? She said, $2,000. I said, honey, I'll take it. Really? You know, we can talk about how to make up that other 1,000. And she was very open to it. Actually, it pleased her. So don't assume that they'll shut you down. So this is, there's my buddy Jack. No, I've never met him. But he sends me emails all the time. Yeah, baby! So this is the California Women's Conference, which is a door I'm knocking on. And has anyone attempted to submit here? Okay, this is a wake-up call for social media. So I put my little arrow here because when you go to speakers, I'm going to take you through I forget when, this is actually recently, this is coming up. But they have breakout sessions. So if you're a speaker, don't be intimidated because Jackie is taking the stage. There are breakout sessions that you are perfectly capable of doing. You have the ability. You're extremely good at what you do. So this is just an idea when you go to these websites and you're interested in these conferences to find in the information, play around. Look around. Go to speakers. For example, you go to speakers here, and then you scroll down to the bottom of the page, and here's who your speakers are. Here's who some of them are. And at the very bottom of the page, it says speaker submission. When you click on that link, this particular application asks you to fill in fields. And 2 or 3 of the fields say, are you on Twitter? How many Twitter followers do you have? Are you on Facebook? Because they want the bigness. How well are you known? This is why social media is crucial. So if you're not engaged, get engaged. There's just one thing that I want to say. I want to thank you. I am so grateful. You have no idea truly how grateful I am that you took the time to come out here. And I encourage you to explore your world, to love your life, and to live with purpose. But most importantly, be really, really brave.